Hello, welcome to today's episode of Talk and Roll with Hawk and the Captain. Today we have out of Akron, Ohio, we have the lead singer of Bound by Darkness, Raven. Raven, tell us about yourself.
I am, as you said, lead singer of Bonded by Darkness. We've been a band for just a short while. I would say, coming up on 2 years in April, actually. And we are dark occult metal is what we consider ourselves. Some people call us doomy, some stoner rock. People that don't know metal genre are just like, oh, so you guys are just like hard rock and roll and whatever you want to call it. So
It's funny because I was talking at the shop the other day, and buddy asked me what bands I had coming up on a show, and I said Bound by Darkness, and they're Bounded by Darkness, and they're like, what they sound like? I was like, what would happen if Heart joined Black Sabbath? I guess.
well, thank
That's
you.
pretty good. Yeah, that's a pretty good. That's a pretty good description.
And he's like, okay. But you're legitimately. This is funny. This is not planned. You're like, we've only done, relatively not that many episodes, and I think you're the fourth band from Akron that we've done.
Yeah, like everybody because Paul does all the booking because I do a whole other career. I kind of just show up to be a head, and lately I've barely done that. So, and
but
yeah, like most of our guests are always from Ohio.
Yep, and that's not planned. I mean, I'm from
Ohio.
Ohio.
Do some like Zuckerberg shit, bro.
Yeah.
Where are you guys like based out of?
I'm out of Pickle, Ohio, which is about 30 minutes north of Dayton. And
I'm in Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Pittsburgh. Okay.
But no, it's just funny because and it's not on purpose. It's bands. Some bands reach out to me. Sometimes I reach out to bands. Next thing you know, they're like, "Oh, where are you from?" Ohio. I'm like, "Jeez."
Well, Paul's looking to bring shows back to Pickwa.
Yeah, that's my goal.
It's like a fucking pretty good deal finding all these musicians from Ohio.
I decided the other day my goal is,
or maybe the Midwest is just so fucking like we're all so traumatized. I'm from the South though, so that doesn't count. But
you were transplanted here, Hawk.
Yeah,
you're a subject. But no, I'm
a refugee.
Yeah, we were talking about my goal for maybe not this year, but maybe next year is if this takes off well enough and we do well enough to have a big show of all the bands that we've had on the show.
Whoever could show up, yeah.
So
that would be cool. I'd be down with that.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Oh yeah, that's the one. That's the I guess the short term goal. I guess.
So, how long have you been doing just music generally? How long have you been in bands, trying shoot for the stars kind of deal?
Yes, I'm the dream chaser. It's torture sometimes, but we do what we love. What's interesting is I've been in music for a long time. In high school, grade school, it was choir, all the things. And then my first actual professional band was a metal band. It was like melodic metal, if you want to call it that. And then things happened. Band members, we broke up, and then I just joined cover bands because it was making money. And then I got so sick of singing other people's music, I literally just couldn't do it anymore. Like, it just made my skin crawl. And I mean, I love doing covers, but I don't want to sing 4 hours all night of other people's music. To make, $150. I just couldn't do it anymore. So
you're not the first person we talked to with that same story.
Yeah.
It's, we just did one. I did one a couple days ago, and she's now a gun for hire. So it's
yeah.
I mean, you got to fucking pay the bills.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's why I'm still making these shorts. I'd rather just stick to the documentaries.
So, what was you getting into music relatively young? Did you get into it did you find metal when you were a kid, or was you a pop kid or a theater kid?
I think I love all music. There's some I'm not, the most excited about. There's a couple genres like techno is probably not my fave at all. rap, 90s rap I love. But I would say I did. I was probably 5 singing songs, and my mom would like sing me songs all the time. She's actually a decent singer. She'll tell you she's not, but she's a decent singer. So I think that mixed with my dad has great taste in music. He loves all kinds of music like I do. I think the combination of that, my parents told me I used to like bang on pots and pans and just kind of scream, and they let me do it. Bless their hearts, because I'm sure that was really annoying. So that's kind of like where it started. I even like opera. I mean, I was supposed to go to college for music, and then I kind of backed out because I listened more to I listened to others' opinions as opposed to myself. So I was young and dumb, and I was told I would be poor forever if I went that route. So
Your college?
yes.
Oh, I understand. For music specifically.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, you get those people who are like, "Oh, you can't follow your dreams. There's no money in your dreams." And
Yes, exactly.
bullshit. Yeah, you might have to go around it a roundabout way, but if you enjoy what you're doing, man, have fun and go at it.
What it is the reality is like some people will dream and try and never get to where they're going for one reason or another. That's just kind of the reality of the situation, but you don't just like lay down and die. Like you figure something out, you know.
Right.
But it's, you know, more people to not try is it's always baffled me because I hate having a boss. It's like my least favorite. I hate it. You know, I just like I had a job that I just lost because the company went under. I worked for them for the last 11 years. And being at a company that long, like a small business, like I had a level of freedom that I now require in whatever I'm going to do next if I have to go back to work, like into a new gig.
Yeah.
But I don't think I could acclimate to going back into a kitchen and being told what the fuck to do by anybody. So,
yeah. Well, you know, and I just think if I would have started much younger with and had the supports that I have now, like where would I be? I think I'd be much further along. And so now I'm just like I'm going to do what I want to do. So full blown, let's go. Let's do it. So
Yeah, because I mean, you said it's Bound by Darkness is what 2 years old. You're out there kicking butt. You're playing. I see you got dates coming up. You know, some bands 2 years and they still ain't got their shit together. They can't even figure out a name for their band. You know,
yeah.
You know, and you guys are already pounding out merch and which I'm not gonna lie, that T-shirt is freaking awesome.
The Hellbound one, yeah,
that's
I love it.
Man.
I'm not like a Satanist, but I love Satan everything.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's just I like making people kind of crawl a little bit when you walk around them.
Sure. Yeah.
I just love that shit.
Yeah.
It's the same reason I've discovered half the albums I grew up on is finding those badass covers, and you're just like, I'll give it a shot. And then you find these freaking bands that are freaking awesome. Then you get the ones that you're just like, how'd you get that cool art? This band sucks.
Well, and sometimes the art does not match the band.
Oh yeah.
You have like this like death metal kind of look, and I'm like, okay. And I listen to the music, I'm like, oh, I was
like psychedelic rock or some shit.
Yeah.
So how did Bounded by Darkness come together?
Well, the guitar player Joshua and the bass player Jasius, they are father-son. So they started the band, and they weren't going to play out. They were just doing it for fun. But then they started writing songs, so they thought, you know, that they thought would sound good playing out and things like that. They had trouble finding a drummer. They ended up finding a drummer. They had a different singer before than me. It was a man, and he just screamed his ass off, basically. And they got rid of him. And then Joshua, the guitar player, and I are together. And so we were dating, and I was like, I want to hear some of your guys' music, because I was in another band. And he's like, well, and I don't think he was excited about it. And he's like, well, our singer is, you could tell he was, I guess I wouldn't say embarrassed by the singer. That's terrible to say, but that's the vibe I got. And so I listened to this song, and it was The Reaper. I was like, wow, there's some catchy stuff in there. And it's interesting because when I write lyrics and a melody, usually if it's a good one, it comes to me right away. And if I have to or I work on it for like 6 months, there's no in between for me. But that song, it was like, I came up with the chorus in like 10 minutes. And then the verses, I was like, okay, it's about the Reaper, Black Plague is when like the Reaper kind of came about. And I don't know, I just put everything together really quickly. And then I played back a recording that I had singing it. And he was like, oh my God. He's like, we're getting rid of our singer and you're joining my band. I was like, okay.
Nice. That's risky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were
That's cool.
You were already in a band, and he had a singer. That's taking a big
Did
leap
you
of
have
both parts.
did you, hey, wait, did you say, Jasius? Is that his name?
Jasius, yeah.
That's so fucking metal. That's the most metal name I've ever heard.
Yeah, I love it.
Jasius. That's fucking awesome.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, no, you gotta leg up at least, like, with being able to put up with each other, the family dynamic.
I did have some reservations like before I joined, but we kind of talked everything out. I'm like, okay, so we were good, because I'm a very like direct, straightforward person. What's the plan? So, and it was a good plan. So,
Yeah, you definitely got. You don't want to Fleetwood Mac it. So
right.
It's because you always hear the stories of we've heard them all about bands falling apart and stuff like that. And are you worried about that? I mean, you're in a relationship with in the band. Do you ever worry about okay? Because
I think I was worried about that. I'd say like the first 6 months. But now, I mean, we're a very serious couple. We just got engaged. I mean, we're going to get married. So I'm not really worried about that anymore. But the first 6 months, I was like, oh shit. Like, what if things go bad? Oh my, and I don't know. I was really nervous, but now, I'm not so worried about that, because him and I have also agreed, relationship first before the band as well, which I think is important. So.
No, that's good. Yeah, because you want to. I didn't mean to like set it up like, oh, that could be. I'm mostly like the dynamic could be weird. If you're, I don't know. It just kind of depends on your relationship. Because if like you don't like what his riff is, are you gonna be worried about telling him like, I don't like that sucks? And then at dinner he's like mad at you because the riff sucked, and you're like, no, the riff sucked. Right? Yeah, you know what I mean, stuff like that.
No, we're very honest with each other. So
yeah, that should be fun.
Like I've sang some things where he's like, well, I don't know. Can you come at it at a different angle, come up with something else? And sure, we don't get hurt feelings about stuff like that. But yeah, we don't have a problem telling each other, no, I don't like it.
See, that's nice to have that from the get-go. Because it's not something you find out like 2 years down the road when he's been, or you or him have been hoarding all this shit down. Like, I hate this song. It's bullshit.
my hetero life mate Josh, I met him in high school, and I joined the band he was in at the time. And they had like a guitarist who had this like fucking song. Like he'd written one. We were 15, so it's not like not the pro was going on, but he had this one song, and he like made me learn it, and was very reluctant to let me, not even just change the song, but write different songs. But as soon as I started suggesting that, like, hey, your song, like, this needs work, like, that was it. Like, me and Josh had to, like, leave and go start our own band.
Oh,
And, bro, that rip, yeah, he couldn't handle it at all. Like, me telling him that was, like, this, or just me trying to add to it at all.
yeah.
But I could probably still play it. For 15 years, it's the one fucking riff. I can't forget it. I can't forget how to play it, and it sucks. It's crazy. I've
Yeah.
never forgotten how to play that fucking little stupid riff he had.
Not like having a shitty song's trapped in your head forever.
It's
You can't get rid
you know, you gotta stare at the guitar for a little bit if I'm a little rusty and remember how to play fucking Back in Black, you know. But this thing will come right out.
Well, I think it's important for musicians because the band I was in before this, one of my favorite guitar players I've ever worked with, Don Talley, he was he like used to be a studio guitarist in Nashville, and I don't want to say he was very critical, even though he was, and he's probably going to watch this. You are, Don, very critical, but I can find appreciation in that as long as someone is not like speaking down to me or to anyone else. I don't have a problem. Like, I'm open to criticism because I want to be better. I want the song to go where it needs to go. And if someone has valid, good input, I want to hear it, you know. So I'm very open to criticism as long as you know, I'm not being spoken to in a like condescending way, you know.
Constructive criticism, not destructive criticism.
Yes, exactly.
Well,
So,
I mean, I get a lot of all of that, like from, you know, just from like public, because I'm a public figure. But as far as like a close, because that's a close relationship, sitting in a van and being on stage with somebody, like you're sharing something that you can't describe to people who don't understand,
yes.
who haven't done it, right? You're connecting in a very special way, and if they can't deliver criticism with respect, it's gonna infect everything. Even if you take it on the chin, you can only take it on the chin so many times for like, fuck this guy. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
Now, so your boyfriend and his dad is still in the band?
fiance, Paul.
Fiance, yes, fiance.
Oh, yeah. Yes, we literally just got engaged.
Yes.
2 days ago.
2 days ago. Well, congratulations.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate that. No, so Joshua and I are together. Josh was the dad.
Okay.
And Asius is the son.
Okay.
Yeah, such a good kid. And our drummer Nathaniel, we picked him up. We kind of went through a few drummers before we got Nathaniel.
That usually happens.
And we hear that a lot.
The Spinal Tap, yeah.
Yes, and Nathaniel is he's younger. I want to say late 20s, I think. He's great. He comes to practice well rehearsed. He's always ready. And I remember when we auditioned him, I was like, wow, he impressed me. And I told him, I'm like, that's impressive. I mean, you came in here and owned these songs like you helped write them. So I was very impressed. So
that's great when you can get somebody young.
Yeah.
But is there do you ever have like the age gap issues with dealing with somebody younger?
Dude, I bet you there's probably a like, I want to make dad proud dynamic to it.
Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah.
They're very close. So Joshua has had full custody of his kids for, I don't know, 13 years, something like that. So they're very close. What was the question again? Sorry, just flew right out.
Working with, because you know, half your band is you and your fiance, the other half of the band is younger.
It's the kiddo. Yeah.
So the only thing that I've noticed is like when we text, it's like they like to type ye or whatever that is, the ye, instead of just Or
Yeah.
yeah.
I
It's
think that's what it is. I'm
that.
too out of the loop.
That's me. I it's bad. I'm old man. I gotta go and go. What is that? My wife will look it up on the computer.
I'm I'm perfectly in that demographic and I don't get it. But I'm pretty sure I was born like 20 years too late is the problem.
100% Hawk. You should have been. You should be a 50-year-old man now.
I should be a 50-year-old man, yeah. Absolutely.
So,
I got lucky, I guess.
yeah. So, what music is your inspiration for your band? What band's got you where you're at?
This shit's groovy, dude.
For me,
Yeah.
it's funny you said Fleetwood Mac. So, because I'm a big Fleetwood Mac fan. I grew up on it. Queen. I'm a huge Zeppelin fan. Love Led Zeppelin. Oh, let me see. I love Heart. I think my screen's frozen.
You're choppy on our end here, but you're
Okay.
still moving. Yeah.
Okay, you can still hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can still hear you. Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
And then yeah, I think those are Alice in Chains. Love Alice in Chains. Yeah, I would say those are like the bands that I would guess I would probably be most influenced by. And then Alanis Morissette later on. I really loved her. I don't know. I just feel like she came in like balls to the wall. Here I am. This is me. And I really liked her. And her voice was unique too. So it stood out to me.
The 90s had a lot of that.
Yeah. I'm gonna lie. I've seen Alanis Morissette twice in live.
Ooh.
I saw her when she first took off. My tickets were $5 a piece. And
Wow.
then the last time I took my wife to go see, it was I think $100 a pop for tickets. So
Jeez.
yeah,
There it goes.
yeah. So it was weird because literally the first time I went to a show at I don't know, you're all the way up in Akron. Do you know where Bogarts is in Cincinnati? You ever heard of that?
I have heard of it.
Okay. Went and seen her there, and I'm sitting there watching, and I'm talking to this girl, not paying a bit of attention. I'm a dude. I'm 21 at the time, so I'm literally just flirting my ass off. And then I walk off, and somebody goes, "You know who that was, right?" And I'm like, "What?" Like, that was Alanis Morissette. I'm like, "Ooh, my bad." She was just hanging out with the audience back then, but that was when she first took off. So it was one of the ones we just risked it for $5 tickets. So hell with it.
So I'm curious what your guys' outlook on social media is in relation to the band and how you want to grow it.
Yeah.
So before we lost you, I was asking,
Yes.
I want to know what your guys' outlook on social media is and how you want to utilize that to grow your audience. Do you have somebody paying attention to that?
Like, do we have someone like assisting
Not like
us?
a dedicated. Do you have someone in the band that
Yeah.
takes that as like a tool? Are you guys using that? Because I like your music a lot, and I think you could really catch some people.
I think we need social media help. But I mostly do the Instagram, and then Joshua kind of like has the Facebook. Sometimes I'll do the Facebook because everybody has full-time jobs in the band too.
Oh yeah, of course.
I don't mind doing it. But I feel like you have to use social media. I mean, that's what people are doing,
It's literally how I found you. I like the last couple weeks, I had a slow day at the shop, so I should have been working, but I was playing with my phone, like I should. And
Owns
We
the
all do.
shop.
yeah, I own the shop. I'm
I
the
don't know
owner,
who
so
he's
it's not like the
complaining
boss
about.
can come in and tell me what to
okay,
do.
well.
He owns- yeah. Let him pretend like he's being held down by the man. All right.
No, literally, if I have paperwork to do, when I get to it because I'm the boss. But no, I'm playing with my phone, and your music came up, and I had to go back, and I was like, oh, hell yeah. And I was like listening to it, and I'm like, I dig this. And then I started messing with them, like, you know what, screw it. We're going to send you invite over there to see if you would be interested on the show because it caught me, and it's nice because I've found literally so many bands that are just because playing with my phone, sitting somewhere, goofing off, and next thing you know, you're like, God damn, they're good. Holy shit. And then you start going through and finding their other songs. And that's how I found, like I said, that's how I found you. And it popped. And
Hey.
so it's one of the ones where you scroll by and you're like, wait a minute, what was that? And you go backwards and like, oh, hell yeah.
Yeah, I've done that too. Yeah.
Yeah, I typically, we'll talk to people about how they utilize their music as content, as opposed to just being like, we're working on this album and then we put the album out, where you have like dark periods where everybody's got their head buried in whatever they're doing, and then you release the album. Whereas I think the way, I don't want to say you have to do it this way now, but it seems to be a way that works, is as you go using that music as content. So as you build the songs, like there's a ton you can do. Like you can have on stage, like especially with short form content being so big now and so easy to put everywhere. Like you can make short content out of 30 seconds of you guys on stage that somebody films from the crowd, or like you guys fucking around backstage, you guys in a studio, or you guys writing or at practice. So there's a lot you can do, and that's just part of it. And then, but the important part is posting it everywhere on like all of the major platforms. So I think, but I like how human you guys sound.
Yeah.
Like my biggest gripe with like modern music, because I'm like he said, I should be a 50-year-old man at this point, because I don't really like anything once you leave the 90s. Like it's not, it's everything. I'm like 90s backwards, and I'm kind of picky, and I don't. I'm like, all right, Paul, I'll check that band out, and then I just don't get to it. I'm just like that. I'm just like that. I listen, I've been listening to the same, 5 Metallica albums for the last 30 years. So
that's how Josh was.
Yeah. So I need to explore more, because it would be helpful for my career. So to know more and be more versed in other music. But I think, what was the major point? I think that people are going to be, a generation of kids especially, is going to get sick of that weird uncanny valley that you hear in AI generated music, or that you see in AI generated images. And while I think like you can use those things as tools, I'm not like anti generative AI or anything, but I think it's going to lead to a young demographic that's going to want to see people playing the songs with the instruments, and they're going to gravitate towards things that have like what is it? I never say it right. Quantized drums. What is it? Quantized, whatever. It's where
quantized.
So the drummer lays it down, and then the DAW lines it up perfectly with all the beats, and then it kills all of the soul when that happens. So that's what I really liked about, just what I heard. So it was a tangent.
Yeah. Well, the nice part about it is you're doing what we tell pretty much everybody does, is like release a song, let people know that you got this, and you move on to the next song. You release a song, and then once you get everything out, you release the album, and then people can buy the physical copy or whatever.
And we're not like we're not like anybody.
Yeah.
It's not like but I've had my head buried in it long enough to kind of see where it goes, and as long as the source material has something to it, like all it takes is consistency and then a little bit of luck. So
agreed.
The nice part about it is that they're real. You're real. You're not a drum track. You're not you're not a guitar track.
Well, it's not even just that. Like the guitar tone is fucking fantastic. Everything is like, I don't want to say sloppy. Sloppy's not what I mean, but it doesn't sound like everybody's landing right on the metronome, and but that's in a good way. Everybody's obviously in time in hitting the notes, but there's something very human about the way it sounds, and I just like that a lot.
Very old school for me.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We recorded it kind of old school too. I think, in my opinion. So
that's probably what it is. Like, I love it. I like that. There's something I can't like explain.
I thought the band came off to me personally like a almost like you're out of time. Like you should have been a band about 1987. You know,
but not in like a dated old
not
school
a dated way, yeah. But like that feel, that sort of, yes.
The feel that kind of went away when everything went digital, like, and everybody wasn't recording on tape anymore. And there's something that is lost in that, I think.
Yeah, I agree.
So you were saying, you're saying you guys all have day jobs. Do your day jobs know about the band? I always like to ask that one.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Yes, I believe all of our jobs know. Yes.
Yeah.
How does that go? People call you rock star.
They're like, oh, you'll be rock star.
Especially, I like a very what kind of job would you say? I guess like a professional job. I'm an intervention specialist for children with special needs. So sometimes there's a parent that has come to me and is like, I love your music. I'm like, oh my. Wow. All right. Thank you.
It's always a weird thing to navigate. Yeah. Especially when you're like talking to people. I worked alone in a shop and my management knew what I did, and it was weird. And I didn't like it because I didn't know how to handle that. I'm like, all right. Like, cause you can't explain it to them because they're all stupid.
Right.
Like, what are you? I'm a YouTuber. Like, how are you supposed to explain that to people?
So is your job's cool with like you touring and stuff like that, getting out and taking days off to play and stuff?
Have you tried?
It's strange because I actually do have some support at work. It's really strange, but I really appreciate it. And there's even one of my bosses, she liked one of my old bands. She's like, oh wow, I love your voice. I'm like, cool. It's odd because I don't want to say at work I'm not myself, but I'm just everyone gets this very professional version of me, whereas the musician me, that is me, that is who I am, and I write these lyrics, and obviously we're very witchy band, and I mean now it's a lot more accepted, but sometimes it still isn't. So
I
have to dance that line.
My wife dealt with that for many a year up until within the last few months. My wife is a witch. I can't say in any way, shape, or form better. Yep. And she's had to basically hide the fact that she was a witch at like every job she's ever worked. And now she's got a job, and they're like, "Oh, okay." And it's just what it is. I can.
Yeah.
And you deal with special needs children. What do you have a specialty, or is it just across the board?
I have a specialty. I deal with mostly like aggressive behaviors with kiddos with autism and also like multiple disabilities. So
okay. Yes, I do that on a daily basis. My youngest son has autism, so I am.
Oh, okay. All right.
And so does my brother-in-law, and we deal with that every day. So it's a challenge here.
Yeah.
So this is one of the fun questions I love to ask.
Okay.
What's the name of your first band?
Autumn of Aeons. I did not come up with that.
That's not
Autumn
bad.
of Eons?
That's not bad.
Aeons. It was like AEON.
With the A and the E are one letter. That whole Aeon.
Like Latin shit.
Yeah. I
can't
remember, but yeah, it was very. Do you guys know, or have you ever heard of the band like Therion?
Yeah.
It's like a metal, but yeah, it was it had that vibe to it, I would say.
That's good.
So
That's a great name. Usually, everybody's first band name is like god awful horrible or
This
something
was in high
goofy.
school when we
Or
named
high
it.
school. That was mine was horrible.
Demonic Age. Like, what the fuck am I supposed to do with this?
Mine was no
I
fate
thought it was cool shit though.
because
I thought it
Terminator
was
came
awesome.
out. So yeah, learn, and it's funny because it never gets any better usually, and it doesn't matter if you were. I've talked to guys that were like in metal, like rock bands in the 70s, and they're telling me these horrible names, and then I talk to these kids that come in the shop with their bands, and you were like, no, it's just a thing. Everybody's first band is
Yeah.
probably.
Maybe it's crazy to think, for me to think, just because of who Metallica is and how important they are. But like, how did it take that long for somebody to name their band Metallica? Like, it's so fucking perfect. Isn't that a perfect metal band name? Like, it's just perfect.
It is. Yeah, I agree. I think it is. Yeah.
But, okay, so if you guys have day jobs and this is passion project, I don't want to say hobby because it's a little more than that. I understand
Yes.
that. So, but that would be how normies would classify something like that.
Mhm.
Where do you guys? Do you have like a loose plan for like the next, say, 5 years? Like, where are you trying to get to, and how are you trying to get there?
For me, I'll speak for myself. Well, and Joshua, because we talk about this. If I could make the money I make right now off of music, that would be like at the end of the 5 year plan. That would be amazing for me. Be a full-time musician. I would love that. We have some things in the works in March.
I've seen you got some
With
shirts coming
I
up.
don't know if I'm allowed to talk about it or not, but there's maybe some signing with some people that we're gonna announce. So we have to wait for them to announce it though. And I would say we like traveling out of state and playing. I feel it's kind of important to go to different states, and we're able to do that. So I would just like to do that a little more often, especially this summer. So right now we have gigs out to the end of 2024. We just got asked to play Grave Fest in Maryland, so that's really nice. And then we're in Maryland again for Doom Fest in June. We're excited about that. So
Yeah, that's a yeah, because I'm looking at your schedule here, and you're like Akron, then you're at Akron, then Amherst, then Frederick, Maryland, then Erie,
Telling you guys,
Pennsylvania, Maryland. So
just get one of the roadies, get somebody's cousin to just film stuff.
Yeah.
yeah,
and use that. It's a gold mine for
Well,
that stuff.
it's
yeah.
you guys are already set. Like I said, 2 years you're traveling outside. I know so many bands who never told like they're like they were huge, but in a very small area. And if they even went 20 minutes outside that area, people were like, "Who the hell's this band?" And they're like,
Yeah.
their audience is literally only the people that left, my area and went and seen them there. And you guys are just like, "Fuck it, we're going. Let's go. We're hitting
Oh, yeah.
off."
No, that's awesome.
Yeah. Everyone in the band is pretty serious about it. So that's also really nice because some people join bands like, oh, I'm just gonna have fun and meet women or things like that. But everyone is pretty serious. So it's refreshing to be in a band like that. So
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you guys. I like
Yeah.
your stuff.
Yeah.
So I like I said, I got to go back to that damn shirt. That shirt is beautiful. Who came up with that shirt?
So that is a close friend of Joshua's. We just went to Columbus to pick those up. That is Seven Goza. I think he's in like a few bands, but he's very creative, and that's our guy. I'm like we will use him. He did our album cover as well, all the whole album pictures and everything. So
That is fucking
That
awesome.
is badass. But okay, I got to ask because we got on this name. How did no one have Bounded by Darkness.
Bonded.
Bonded by
That's what
Darkness, not Bonded by Darkness. How did nobody have that before you guys did? Because that seems like something that would have been around for a long time.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Amazing that you guys were able to snag that name.
Yeah. Well, I remember they used to be called Swamp Funeral, and I was like, I do not like that name. So remember how I said I have no problem stating my opinion. So I was like, that name, I mean, that sounds like some sludgy, I feel like that name does not match. I said all my opinions, and Josh was like, yeah, you're right. I'm gonna change it. And then he came back with that, and I was like, well, oh, okay. I love that.
Snagging the website's a big get too. That's awesome.
Yes.
Like
Swamp
.com
Funeral.
Swamp Funeral.
Horrible.
That does sound like a stoner rock band.
That sounds like a southern stoner rock band, man.
Yeah, like the sludgy. Yeah.
Yep. Like we're from just north
Louisiana.
of Louisiana.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's where I would put anybody naming Swamp. Although I grew up pretty close to the Everglades. I guess that could be a Florida thing too. Tampa. I grew up right outside of Tampa. So
okay.
I thought, dude, I used to think death metal was like the most popular music in the world. I didn't understand that it wasn't quite as big. Not just Tampa. I mean, but that, I'm telling you, that area, everybody around it, all the kids in high school, they were all into death metal. I was not into death metal very much. Not like I was like AC/DC and Motorhead, but
sure,
clearly, obviously, I realize how much Motorhead I'm repping right now.
But it's kind of cool because I've seen the upswing on the like sludgy doom metal going up, and there's so many really good bands out there, and I'm like, God dang, and I think you're falling right into that. You could just be like, ride that wave. That's right.
I like how guitar tone's huge for bands like that. For me, though, I get kind of picky. I don't know what it is, but I dig it. So, you go back 2 years. Nobody. I mean, that was probably right as the world was starting to return to normal, I guess. And I'm not going to say why, so that people see the video. So, but things got weird. We were all shoved in our box. And a lot of people we've talked to either started the band during lockdown or ended a previous band because of lockdown. Kind of deal. So how was it? What was okay? You've been in the band 2 years?
Yes.
Or the band has been around 2 years. Okay, yeah. So how was the initial when you got in there and told them that Swamp Thing or whatever it was sucks, right?
Yeah.
How was kicking off, like actually getting into shows and stuff? Was it difficult?
Not really. I remember because April we made it official we were a band, and then someone had reached out and they're like, hey, we need a band to open for us. And it was like the end of May, and I'm like, are we gonna be ready in I don't know, 5 weeks? I'm not sure about that. And then I thought to myself, you know what? It's original music, because I had just come out of a cover band. So I was like, it's different. Original music it just hits different. So I was like, you know what? I am going to be ready. And we were ready. And so I guess, was that your question? Was getting gigs difficult?
Yeah. Was it tough to actually get into the being a band thing? Like you weren't, you know what I mean? Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. For me, I would say no, it wasn't.
That sounds lucky. Yeah, that sounds awesome. Hey,
yeah.
There's somebody open. Yeah, with original music, if you sing it the wrong way, nobody's going to know.
Exactly. And nobody knows your words, and
right.
they don't compare you to, well, Alanis Morissette
the original version
phrase that sentence this way, and it's like, well, so you don't have to worry about stuff like that.
That's awesome.
We look at it this when I've talked to a lot of bands, they use their time as a cover band or whatever to break get broken in, to be able to get their chops in, to get where they need to be vocally or musically. It's a trial by fire because, like you said, everybody's judging you because you're playing songs that they know well.
Yes.
And do you look at it that way, that you just use that time as like an educational experience?
I do. It's interesting. I feel like it made me a better singer, because of different singing tones and having different styles. Because when I would cover a song, if I was doing a country song, I wouldn't be afraid to pull out a little bit of twang. It was obviously appropriate for the song. If I'm covering, let's say, like, because I did Hand in My Pocket by Alanis Morissette, it's okay to sound a little whinier on the high notes because she does that and it sounds really good. So you can pull that out of yourself, things like that. So when I write a song, I think, first of all, how's it making me feel, and what's being pulled out of me. I don't want to say like what style of voice, but sometimes I sing, with a little bit softer tone, or I think this song needs more of that aggressive tone. Like for The Reaper, I was like, oh, we need to like do some belting. It's more of an aggressive kind of tone for a vocalist, I feel like. So, and then our other song, and then The Devil in You is probably the same way. I Am the Fire is more, I would say I sing a little bit like softer tone in that one. So
like building a toolbox.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, have you taken cover songs completely off the table?
That was gonna be my question, because
Yeah.
I bet you guys could fucking do some banger covers.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, we have not. And we actually have 2 cover songs in the works because other people in the band aren't fans of covers, but I explained to them that's kind of how you get noticed. I mean, if you think about a lot of original singers now, they come out with like a badass cover, and that's how they get noticed, because people are like, oh yeah, they covered this song.
I love covers.
They go and look at your other music. Yeah. So I feel like that's like a kind of getting your foot in the door. So they all agreed, and we came up with 2 songs I think are gonna go over well. So we'll see.
Cool. Because we joke around that the best cover band ever is Metallica. So
Metallica's the greatest cover band of all time.
You guys cover band ever. But then you got Stone Sour and Hailstorm knocking out, and Anthrax busting out solo or cover albums, and they're great. So
I love covers too.
Yeah. So now, do you put your own twist on them when you're your versions that you're going to do?
Yes, and one song is going to be probably like a whole step down than the original key. So
that's what I like. When people, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, but like when people cover songs, they either Weezer that shit and try and make it sound like exactly the way the original is, which I don't understand.
Right.
What's the point? Like, what's the point of covering it if you're not gonna like? I like people who rewrite the song effectively, but keep the foundation that connects you with it. It's just that's what I dig. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Now, do you have a favorite song you like to cover personally?
I mean, I love Alanis Morissette, so if I could, the song Uninvited, I would love to do that with like full rock band, full orchestra. Oh my God, I'd be.
I could definitely see that being a doomy song, because that's that just keyboards and her for the most part. Yeah, if you put like some, just drop that down, make it. Oh yeah, hell yeah.
Yeah. So I would love to sing that, but I don't know. I kind of like to cover male singers, which is interesting, but I do. I usually tend to pick songs with male singers. So.
Well, I think that's good to get a lot of the songs, man. You put the female vocals to it, and it brings out something different from the song than what it initially was.
Well, being a female in this scene can be difficult. Like, actually, you got an uphill battle. I know. I've seen fucking mongoloids.
Yeah.
That's
Love, Hate, Love would be amazing too, by Alice in Chains. I would love to cover that too. I think it'd be really cool.
You know, this is bad. Is I really never gave the current. I kept saying the new lead singer of Alice in Chains a chance,
I don't
and
know his name.
I've been giving him a chance lately, and I'm like, damn it, why did I not give him a chance years ago? And
Mm-hmm.
and it was realistically, it was all because of him doing the song with the band The Who, the Mongolian band, and
Okay.
I was like, fuck, that's rocks, and I was like, oh shit, that's him, you know, because
Yeah.
I didn't even realize who it was because I
Yeah.
listened to it by
I like him. William Duvall, right? Yeah.
yeah.
I guess I did
I
know
think
him.
he's a great singer. Yeah. I really like him.
Yeah. It's weird because he doesn't look like he should be singing for Alice in Chains though.
I mean,
Yeah.
I love Jerry Cantrell, but like
Yeah.
I said, my brain is stuck on dirt and giraffes. I'm just like that. So not for any reason. It's just if I'm gonna listen to Alice in Chains, it's gonna be Wood first, you know.
Okay.
So I always love asking this question. What are you currently listening to?
So for like a local band, I'm listening to Frail. Have you ever heard of them? They're kind of doomy goth, and I guess just doom and goth kind of band. They are, we know them personally too, and they make good music. I don't know. And it's like hard doomy music with like these lullaby vocals. It sounds kind of strange, but they make beautiful music. I don't know. I really like that.
For real?
And then, well, on my drive home from work, I was listening to When the Levee Breaks by Zeppelin. So just kind of,
Always a great one to fall back on.
yeah.
It's music. I'm the anti Hawk. Hawk set. He loves the same 12 bands. He's locked.
Okay.
I'm the guy who all I do is listen to music almost all day long, whether I'm at the
It's new
shop.
stuff.
Yeah, I'm always finding new stuff, and but you know I've still got shit tons of music from all the way back to when I was in junior high, so I don't get rid of shit. But you know, you are doing something really good. It's got a really good sound. It's got a good feel. It's got a good look. It's like you're checking so many boxes with this band, and you've got awesome merch. You got awesome sound. You got awesome look, and you've already got your shit together because you're talking about being in bands and all that stuff. That's amazing. For a band that's you guys said you've been together for 2 years, but when you really think about it, with the amount of time you guys put into it, you've put in way more than the 2 years. So
Absolutely, yeah.
Telling you the keys to the kingdom are going to be on TikTok.
Yep.
Or YouTube.
I know.
It sucks. I hate that.
Yeah.
But
well, it's those. I watched a thing the other day on all the bands that are manufactured, or the bands that their parents, because I don't know how it is up in Akron, but down here we got a lot of places that are pay to play.
Oh.
So there's so many of these bands that are not good that especially younger guys whose parents are basically funding their hobby.
On the carpet store,
Yeah. And it's ridiculous because you go to see this band that you love, but you got to get through like a handful of shit bands who just paid to be up there, and it's sad. And those are the ones that make it. I mean, literally, one of my good friends, he had, when he was touring, he had 21 Pilots open for his band not that long ago.
Mm-hmm.
And then 21 Pilots blew up, and he goes, yeah, they're just a couple rich kids who's basically bought their record deal. And I'm like,
oh,
yeah. So, you just.
Well, okay, look, the nepotism is obviously
it's
good
there.
Leg up, but you got to have something to get people to listen to your shit.
Yeah, I mean, it's poppy and it's catchy. That's.
Yeah.
I'll go to my grave with this one. I was like, I don't know who wrote Britney Spears' music, but whoever did was a goddamn genius. Because that guy made the catchiest fucking songs. And Hawk's up there. But whoever did was and whoever does all these big pop singers, because they hire out, they don't write their own music for the most
Yeah.
part.
Mm-hmm.
And I joke around. I was like, I give all credit in the world to the kids with Hanson. Those kids did
There's
all
that
their own
one
music,
song.
wrote everything, and you're just like, I don't really much care for their music, but I give them all the credit in the world because those guys,
Sure.
yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So and that's what you guys are doing. You're out there writing your own
You
songs.
guys are the next Hanson.
Yeah, you're the next Hanson.
Best compliment we've ever given to them.
Fuck, I'd love to be the next Hanson. Fucking be rich, fucking
Yeah.
like 20 years
Absolutely.
old. But music's weird right now. It is
I'm
because
telling you,
we there's you will never find a better time to be able to get your music out there. But the only problem is that
everybody
everybody's
else
getting
can
their
too.
music out there.
I know there's so much.
And
So
But
much.
here, listen, this is in some people, I don't know who would tell you otherwise. Some people, a lot of people. But you are competing because that's just how it works. But there is no shortage of there is no finite listener base. Right? Like even it let's say I made a documentary about Satanic Panic and I put that out and people watch another video about it first, but then they've watched that video and they're looking for more. People are always hungry for content to consume. So it's not, it can be kind of daunting feeling like you're up against a lot of other bands, but there's no finite number of people who want to hear something new. And that's where the luck comes in. Like that you just got to catch the right algorithm. And then once you've got that foundation, that foundational follower base, like steady growth is where you want to go. So
Yeah.
I think you guys got that. I think you just got to be
so
Thank you.
heck
Thank
in
you.
front of the right guy.
So-
If
Yeah.
you're signing, they'll know.
Yep.
If maybe when they announce it, but if they know what they're doing, they'll have somebody on that. So
Oh yeah. So I love asking this question. What advice do you have for younger people getting into the music industry now?
Well, I would say someone at work, her daughter like really wants to sing and everything. And she tried out for a talent show and she didn't even make the show. And she had me listen to her. She's, for her age, pretty good, I think. And I said, you should tell your daughter that talent doesn't always win. And in the music world, sometimes there is still politics. And also being a female, we kind of talked about that too. In this industry, like I'm not, for other women that sexualize themselves and they feel empowered, that's great. I'm not one of those women. I will never be one of those women. So obviously that's going to make it harder for me. But I would just say talent doesn't always win, and just be yourself, because I think there is going to be people out there that I would say identify maybe with you. Maybe that's not the right word, but
they'll be able to
connect.
sniff out if you're not doing that. People will connect with you if you're being yourself, and if you're not, they'll figure it out.
Yes, I agree. So that would be my advice.
Yeah. Well, it's funny because I was going to ask the next question about being a woman in metal, but you answered that question with that question. So I don't have to ask that question now. And you're right. One of the best singers I ever knew personally was a girl I worked with. She could sing like a beast, but she was like 4'10", and a little on the thicker side.
Yeah.
And she never got looked at for the second time. She would out-sing everybody you'd go see, and yet she would just be kind of like, they're like, oh, you're a good singer, but you need to change your image. That was what their whole thing was, their image. I'm like, why don't you just say, make her lose some weight?
Yeah, I'm telling you now, in where we are and where we're headed, like I was talking about that uncanny valley that you can even detect in like music. People are gonna, I actually think it's going to sharpen people's ability to connect with that reality
Hmm.
in a way that is much more meaningful.
Yeah.
I think it's going to result in at least an entire generation of kids who are going to really want that.
Yeah.
Well, it's when people are real and people you can relate to the music. You feel the music, stuff like that. When it's manufactured, I can't get into it. When it's
Yeah.
a product, even I Hawk and I differ on this. I like synthwave stuff and stuff like that. And yes, that's using, but man, you go see these bands, they're up there playing all their instruments, they're playing the keyboard. Yeah, they're mixing stuff in, but there's still realness to it. And then you get the ones who
Yeah.
legitimately, I was at a show and a guy got up and he sang over a fucking tape recorder. And you're just like, this is the epitome of, and I talked to the people who ran the show and he goes, this dude does it all the time. He buys all of his tickets and he gets up there and plays. He plays.
Ah.
And he goes, I don't think we've ever had anybody that he bought a ticket for come in. He buys all the tickets just so he could play.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And it was all, and I'm like, you can say no. You know that, right? I mean, you can just, he goes, yeah, but we're not the ones booking the show. We got a booker doing that. And he's the one. I was like, oh, then you need a new booker. So, but, all right. This is the other one. Where can people find you and
Bounded by darkness.
Bounded by darkness?
Bonded by darkness.
Yes, bounded by darkness.
Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We are on TikTok. We don't use it as much. I should use that more for social media because, as I think Hawk said, it's it's a good tool. I love Instagram, so Facebook, it's on my nerves. But I'm trying to think. Oh, we're on Spotify, Bandcamp, pretty much everywhere. So.
And what kind of merch do you currently have?
We have 2 t-shirts available. We just have like a black and white just logo shirt, which is $15. And then we have our new Hellbound shirt, which is $20. If anyone's interested.
I'm gonna have to order one.
Yeah.
So, and I can add it to my, like Hawk has all of his Dimebag and Metallica and stuff shirts, and then I'm over here rocking the Clutch t-shirts. That's literally how people know me. You're the Clutch guy. I'm like, dude, I got like 6 Clutch shirts. I got a shit more Star Wars.
I haven't bought. I keep meaning to get Clutch t-shirts. I love Clutch too, so much. But
so good.
I also have so many I bought so many t-shirts last year that I'm gonna have to try and write it off on my taxes as a business expense, because it is technically like part of the uniform, I guess,
Yep. There we go.
Sorry.
No,
you're good.
we were just saying
perfect timing anyway. Yeah,
so
we got it all in there.
So, I always ask, is it all right if I use your music to put at the end of the credits on this episode?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
Usually what I'll do is I'll put the video at the end and I'll put it'll have the credits going over the video, but I just let it run out. And I probably will have to go through eventually and take some of that down. I'll give it a chance, and then after so long, take it down, because then the copyright won't hit us.
Is copyright getting it?
We haven't got anything. They're just like, there's copyrighted material in your video, and it doesn't do anything.
Have we gotten anything? We haven't gotten anything.
We haven't got any takedowns. It just says that there's copyrighted material in your video. So.
Well, yeah. Okay.
Yeah. So
I don't think the channel's not monetized anyway.
Yeah, it's not.
That would be where we need to worry about it.
No, it's.
That's usually why I like to ask, because then some people are on labels and they can't just it's not even up to them if it can be used or not.
That's what's nice about everybody I've talked to so far. Like, yeah, have at it. and then sometimes they're like, just use the live version of the song. So the live version they can get away with, not the produced version.
Yeah.
So, do you have any? You gave the gigs. You want to give the gigs again that you got coming up?
Sure. So locally, both of them are in Akron and they're back to back. So it's going to be a busy week, March 6th and March 8th. So there's some touring bands coming in at the Buzzbin in Akron, March 6th. It's a Wednesday. We're excited to play with them. And I think they're from everywhere, like Michigan, and I think Pennsylvania is another one. And then the Vortex in Akron, which is it's a really nice big venue. So, and they have food. So a lot of people are like, is there food there? And I'm like, yes. That gets people. So
yeah, my buddy's always invite me. He's like, hey, you want to go to this bar? I'm like, is there music? Is there food? He's like, no, it's just beer. I'm like, I don't drink anymore. So I was like, if there's music and there's food, I'm there. If it's just liquor, I'll stay home. Before we get ready to let you go, I do have to ask the question that we absolutely love to ask.
Okay.
Tour horror stories. Did you have a tour? I think I'm going to start a segment called Tour Stories, and it's going to be.
That's not bad.
I like that.
Horror story. So, do you have any horror stories about touring?
Yes. So we played in Baltimore. I want to say, oh man, I can't remember. So probably this time last year, April 2023, and we stayed in just like a Motel 6, and oh God. So the hotel smelled really bad. And then the whole night, the smoke alarm was going off all night. And so, I mean, we got back late. It was like, I don't know, 1:30 in the morning. And I had let them know that the smoke alarm was going off. They're like, okay, yeah, we'll get it. It went off the whole night. Nobody got any sleep. We stayed up all night. And then, we had to drive 6.5 hours back. So we were dead. And then there was, we heard some gunshots at night as well. So it was just like, it was a rough night. But I guess that's probably the only horror story I have. But that was a rough night.
That's pretty good. Our first one, the kid tried to, or the kids, they got, what is their bass player tried to stab one of them.
I thought their guitar player tried to stab their bass player.
And they left them in like Michigan somewhere.
Yeah. They were in Detroit. So, yep.
Oh my God.
See, I'm thinking about taking, and I'm thinking about, like, once we get a bunch of episodes together, I'm going to take the tour horror story segments and make just one, like, best of tour stories. Just the dumb stuff. But yeah, that sucks. As somebody, I'm not in a touring band. I do conventions, and that is one of the worst things ever. Is when you go to a hotel, you get in there late, so you can't really go anywhere else, and you just hear either. We were there one night, and you hear beep. Beep.
Yes.
God damn it! Where's
Yeah. And I'm I'm a light sleeper as it is, but when we travel, I'm an even lighter sleeper. So I was like, no sleep for me tonight. So,
that would have to suck. I don't sleep well on the road. I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I cannot do that again. But I want to say thank you so very much for doing the show.
Thank you.
everything clean. Listen to the words that I sing.